Well, good morning, dudes and dudettes. The sun is amazing this morning. Feels so good. It's not going to feel so good later because it's not supposed to be very cloudy at all. It's supposed to be a bluebird sky and get up pushing 90. But you know what? We're on the water. Probably only going to be out here for about a half a day, but we're going to see what happens. And it's going to be a good day. I'm out here once again on the Occoquan River, coming out of Occoquan Regional Park. You can't miss where that is. But yeah, it's a good morning. It is a Sunday. It's a weekend. So this place, with the weather today, is going to be absolutely jumping. I'm expecting some silliness on the water today. Not only from a bunch of kayakers who are going to get rentals and whatever. Because, I mean, I don't blame them. It's a beautiful day. And if I didn't have my kayak, I'd probably find a way to get on the water somehow, even if it was just float down the Shenandoah. But we're going to see what we can see. Gonna take probably about a half an hour here, a little upstream from the launch, where I like to fish, see what I can see there. I'm about an hour and a half later than I wanted to be on the water because the person who was responsible for opening the gate here at the park seemed to have been late and or lazy. And I was waiting at the gate for them to open it up about 45 minutes later than it was supposed to be. So I was kind of peeved by that. But you know, sometimes it's gonna do what it's gonna do, and I just heard my circuit breaker trip again. So that problem's not solved. You may have noticed I cut my forward speed very quickly, and again, I've only made it maybe a third of a mile at full speed on this trolling motor. This is absolutely uncalled for as to why this is doing this, but it's not even hot. I don't know why it's kicking like that. It's very annoying. Which means I'm running it today on a maximum of 75% speed. So at max, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Back it down 5 spots. So probably gonna move in about 3.5 miles an hour instead of 4.5 miles an hour. Doesn't seem like much, but when you run as far as I do, that's sometimes as much as 15 minutes later getting back to the launch, which is troublesome. But anyway, it's going to be a good day, whether or not I'm still fighting electrical gremlins on this trolling motor or somewhere along the line. I don't know if I need to get a bigger circuit breaker because I'm running a 50 amp right now. I don't know if I need to bump it up to a 60. I don't think I have to bump it up to a 60, but I'm going to do some research on that. I thought cleaning the terminals on my connections on my cord would solve a lot of the issue because I thought it was rust and corrosion that was preventing some of the current transfer. But it seems that's not the issue. The issue is somewhere back near my battery box. So, yay. But anyway, enough of that rant before we get too far down that rabbit hole of me grumbling about mechanical shenanigans. Hi there, how's it going? My name's Adam. This is Go To Outdoors. I'm happy to welcome you back to another one. It's gonna be a beautiful day. The carp are already jumping. I've seen so many jump. It's gonna be a good day. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it's gonna be a good day. I'll bring you back when something happens. Good morning, buddy. Hope you're having good luck this morning. Just don't take my fish. All right, you know where I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna head under this waterfall. I'm gonna see if there's a fishy fish. You can see from the mud line on the bank there and the scum line everywhere else that it is very, very low tide right now, which is part of the reason I'm grumpy I'm not out here earlier. I wanted to be on the falling tide instead of at the dead low tide. So let's see what we can see. Fun fact about cormorants, ladies and gentlemen. The reason he's sitting there, or she's sitting there, with their wings out in the sun, is to dry off, because unlike ducks and geese, they don't actually have any waterproofing on their feathers. Oddly enough, considering they are pretty much a 99% aquatic bird, that was not something that they decided to figure out. It's interesting. Later, buddy. Hair looks great. Not a lot of flow coming out of the dam. So today may be mostly a snakehead day. And there's no runoff coming off of the side there like there was last time. Morning, Mr. Hawk. Morning, Ducky. Good morning, Buzzard. Don't know if you guys heard that on the video, but they make a very unique sound when they're flying. Their feathers buzz. That's cool. Alright, let's try and get up to that spot. I don't think we're gonna have luck here because I don't see any water coming from right there. There is no flow whatsoever. And I didn't bring a topwater either. Darn it. Whew, stinks. It stinks. Probably because that merganser and all the poop on the rocks there. Ah, darn it. Whatever. We're going to make that cast count. Oh, don't you quack at me. I get it, Hawk boy. Don't you quack at me. That, I heard that. That was disgusting. I heard that crap. Well, I want to get in the water and wipe something off because that was gross. And it's runny too. That's gross. Alright, so just as I suspected, because of last time, there is no current coming down here this time around, which means I'm not going here or any farther up, which I would have done on foot, but that means we are turning around and we are running back down the stream and we're targeting some sneaky snakes. So let's get rolling. Bring you back when we get close. Well, decided to stop my travels just to flip into this bunch of branches, and yeah, got my first little largie of the day. Come here, you. All right, just a little rage bug, just a healthy little bass, real healthy little bass. Let's get a quick pick and then we'll get them sent on the way. Not skunked. All right, little buddy. Go tell your friends to bite. Oh, nice. All right, and the best part about using this particular way I have it hooked is I can reuse the bait and not have to go through so many because I didn't bring too many with me today. So just watch the line. I saw a little thump, and then I saw it moving. I was like, all right, let's take them. So the water is noticeably more stained over here, closer down to the river, or where the Occoquan dumps into the Potomac here. That's a dead something. It's a dead gar. Looks like a dead gar. Ah, just spooked one right here. That's the thing, I end up spooking more snakeheads than I end up catching. Put this up and get the little froggy frog. A lot of wood in here, a lot of submerged wood. But this hydrilla is what I'm looking for. All this stuff, super shallow hydrilla. It's hard to distinguish. These are bait fish. That was bait fish. But what I'm looking for are fry balls. And what I mean by that is when snakeheads spawn, their fry form a ball. Oh, dang, that was a good sized one right there. Son of a gun. Dang it. So they form these balls and the parents guard them. So it's very possible to actually catch fairly sizable snakeheads off of a fry ball if you can find it. Because they're extremely aggressive, very, very devoted, defensive parents, which of course helps their odds and why so many of them survive to adulthood around here. Bluegills, bunch of bluegills. Isolated pockets of cover, very shallow. I posted a video on my Instagram a couple days ago, last time I was out here, and there was a big snakehead literally blowing up right on the bank. And you know, I cast it out to it when I went past it, but I didn't manage to get its attention well enough to get it to strike. Well, take that back. I did manage to get its attention. It waked in on my bait and then at the very last second decided not to hit. So when it didn't do that, that taught me something. It taught me I don't know what the heck I'm doing. But I did cast out beyond it in the direction it was moving, so it intercepted my bait. And when it did that, it just decided to keep on moving. And pretty soon I think most of this corner is going to be full of cheese. And when I say cheese, I mean that gnarly thick stuff. Really gnarly thick stuff. What I'm going to do is I'm going to head back around this corner on the other side of this little spit. Because I have a feeling, I caught a couple good bass in there last time. Right as it was getting dark and tide was coming in, so may not be getting dark, but tide is coming in at this point in time. So I'm gonna see if I can go ahead and get anything to get excited. This stuff is too thick right here to put down the trolling motor, so I am back to good old-fashioned paddling. Getting myself a workout today. Well, good morning to you too. I don't expect... Bruh. That's uncalled for. I don't expect too many fish to be up and cruising at the moment unless they are guarding something. It's got a really tiny, I want to say this is a strike king frog, but it's super small and it's a bone color, so I like the white, I like the bone colors. But the other reason I got it is because it has some pink. The legs are kind of pink, and everything I've seen says snakeheads like the color pink, so why not give them what they like? So as the tide goes up, these fish are going to bury themselves back in the schmutz, because that's where they feed. They're able to get up in there and do what they got to do. A lot more effectively than bass can, it seems. That had to have been a bed at some point. I'm just cruising, watching the bank, watching the shadows. I want to try and see if there's any spots back here that have a lot of overhanging trees to give these fish a bit of shadow. Because if they have shadow, they're more likely to look up and feed. And that's just a fish thing. It's not just a snakehead thing. It's a bass thing, a trout thing, definitely a trout thing. How's a bluegill? There's a lot of small bait that's cruising along the shallows here. This may end up being a rather slow day. But hey, got my first fish of the morning. Not skunked, not ever. Interesting place for a concrete block. And I was trying to get a couple things up by those rocks that are below the dam that comes out of the Occoquan Reservoir. And apparently there is zero current getting pushed out of there right now. They're doing zero water release. No water movement means no water release means no water movement. No water movement means those rocks are essentially dead to me. Really all they are at this point is just large structure in shallow, very hot water. Dead gar. Looks like the bow fishers have been out again. They do some damage on these carp and snakehead and the gar. These guys hitting the stereotypical dock points. I ain't fighting them, and I ain't gonna fish that later. I ain't fishing used water. No sorry about Bruni. Oh, I am gonna go places they can't get to. That's a big old turtle right there. Big old turtle. He's probably a foot long, 8 inches wide. Big old Yertle the turtle. Speaking of Yertle the turtle, I was at work the other day and I was talking with a customer, and she is finishing up her doctorate. She's in her high 50s. You know, it's never too late. And literally the only reason she said she was going back to school to get a doctorate was so that she could have doctor in front of her last name, because she was Mrs. Seuss. She's gonna be a Dr. Seuss. I don't blame her. That's the kind of goofiness I'm here for. Every single time. The snakes are here. I can hear them blowing up, but they are way back up in that stuff, and I can't get to them. Not yet. Now that's some kind of push-pull. The tide is rising, so they've pushed up out of this, up into all this mess. And I quite frankly do not know how to fish it. I just don't. Tried to do some sight fishing, but every time I get close to one, I spook them because I'm wearing fluorescent freaking orange. That is by design. Okay, got bullfrog back up in here. A little bit deeper water. It's just a wide hydrilla flat at this point. It's growing up so darn quick because of all the silt and everything. Water actually feels kind of cool, to be honest. Not super hot. I was expecting warmer water. That side's practically choked with hydrilla inside of these weeds. Inside of the lilies, anyway. All this bait in the water here. Not fry balls. It's definitely some kind of bait, though. Really wish I knew what this tide was doing too, because the current's flowing out even though the tide should be rising right now. That's very strange. The tide's flowing out. I'm heading to the back real quick and I'll fish my way out. What are those? Green sunnies. There's a channel right here. That's interesting. very interesting. Okay. I would guess there'd be a fish in here. Yep, there's a largie right there. Right where he should have been, right in the cut. Oh, that's a bigger largemouth I just spooked. Darn it. Lots of green sunfish in here. So there's plenty of food for the snakes. Plenty of food for the bass. And they're all doing their thing. So, do I risk it? Do I stand up? I don't know. If I stand up, every single snake that's within, 50 feet of me is going to see me and it's going to spook. But flip side of that coin is not knowing where they are and blind casting for hours on end, which I'm not super keen on. They've got to be back here. But their camouflage is so good. I see them only when they're moving, or most of the time. Turn that. There's one right there. There's a snakehead right there. Tucked in the hydrilla. It's right there. Its back is sticking up right there. I can see it. It's just buried. I mean, I can almost run up and net that thing. Man, it doesn't seem to want to move. Is it sleepy? Yeah, I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try and do something silly and nonsensical. I'm gonna try to blind net or free net a snakehead. Okay. Be very, very quiet. I'm hunting webbits. That's exactly what that is. It's a snakehead just sitting right there. Get within range. I can't believe this. I don't know if you can see this. Y'all saw that. It moved off just as I was doing my thing. So, as you can see, folks, it hightailed it right into the deep stuff. Right into the deep stuff. I can't believe it. That fish did not even know or care I was there until it saw my shadow pass over it like 6 or 7 times. So now I'm going to keep an eye out for more of these things. But that's what they do. They bury their heads like that in the weeds, and that's kind of like their sunglasses. That's how they were keeping their eyes covered out of the sun today, because when it's super sunny like this, I mean, it's like anything. Nothing likes to look up, nothing likes to look into the sun. I mean, you saw me throw my lure directly over that fish, you know, several times. I even brought it up bubbling so it was making noise. It knew my lure was there, and it was just in zero mood to feed. Zero mood to feed, because it did not feel like moving in the sun. Did not feel like looking up into the sun. And that was pretty cool. This most certainly is a different style of fishing, I'll give it that. I almost can't get through this hydrilla. I'm using my paddle here as like a push pole in the mud. It's kind of gross. But let's see what I can do back here. So yeah, I could definitely be scooting right across fish's backs, and I'm in maybe 8-10 inches of water, and I'll never know they were there. That one just had its back, you know, and dorsal fin sticking out of the bushes. Off of me. Caterpillar, fish bait. So that one, yeah, just had its back out. And that is the only reason I knew that fish was there. If I didn't see the fin running down his back, I would have thought it was another one of these pieces of wood. You know, perfectly still, didn't have any fins moving whatsoever, no like waving or fanning like a lot of fish do when they're stationary. It was just asleep. I guess it was just asleep. This is crazy shallow. And they're up in here. This is the habitat that snakeheads are adapted to take advantage of. I just scared a big one right there. That was a big one, and it was right here. I didn't know it was there, and it just ran off, and son of a gun. That's my point. That's exactly it. I was right here. I never knew that fish was there. And if it hadn't spooked, I never would have known that fish was there. That's how well camouflaged they are. You know, even when they're not totally buried in the hydrilla. That was cool, but also frustrating because that was a very big fish. That was bigger than the one I spooked when I tried to net it. Or, well, it spooked a little bit before I tried to net it, but it definitely spooked when I netted it. It went running into the bushes. But this is it. Super shallow, close quarters combat fishing. Snakeheads, and yeah, with the sun up, they're not gonna bite. They're not gonna do a darn thing. They're gonna sit there. They're gonna wait till any cloud cover rolls in. And who knows, maybe me talking is hurting my chances too, but I am learning at the same time you are. There's another one, another big one. And that was right here. That was right here. This place is chock full of snakeheads. Chock full of big ones. But I haven't seen any paired up. I haven't seen any next to a fry ball, so they have not yet spawned. They have not yet spawned. But they'll just, you know, burrow through all this hydrilla. But I haven't heard any of them blowing up. They're not coming through and feeding. They're not in a feeding mode. They're in a rest and relaxation mode, conservation of energy mode. And these things are incredible little beasties. Yeah, they're invasive, but at this point, I mean, the fact that I've seen like 6 just back here, and I've gotten 3 of them on camera for you, and I've only been back in this little thing paddling around like this for probably 20 minutes. Ah, lovely. That's gross. You know, these things are here to stay. They're not going anywhere. You know, they're not the boogeyman. They're not the Frankenfish that the media wants you to think they are. They really aren't. They're just incredible, incredible fish. And they're just incredible fish. I mean, they are super adaptive. I mean, that's the reason they're so good at, you know, they've established themselves. I mean, they've been in the States now for 21 years. You know, they're old enough to drink, because they were first found in Crofton Pond in Maryland in 2003. You know, they pretty much nuked that pond. There was nothing alive. You know, the Department of Game or whatever from Maryland decided to go through and just, you know, commit a war crime on that particular pond to try and prevent the spread of the snakehead at the time. And, you know, they're here because somebody wanted a taste of home. You know, they put snakeheads in. You know, bucket biologists were doing their thing. They pretty much stocked them because they wanted something delicious. Quite frankly, they are delicious. You know, the one that I've eaten, the one I caught a couple weeks back, was 10 out of 10. I mean, that was, and all I did was a little bit of salt, a little bit of butter, a tad bit of lemon juice, and I just baked it in a foil pack like I would, you know, trout or cod or something like that. And it was probably the best tasting freshwater fish that I have ever eaten. It was incredible. So that's kind of the reason, that's one of the reasons I'm now a huge fan of these things. Not only because of that, but they're also super fun to catch. They're aggressive, they're just brutish, they're beastie little critters, and I like them. I don't know why my camera decided to shut itself off just now, but I don't know what part of my story I was in. But yeah, I'm probably going to throw a swim jig or chatterbait or something back along that channel to try and catch something that might be hiding in there, because the first time through I did spook a couple little largemouth. So I know there will be fish around here. Fish of some kind. I don't know if they're going to be in an eating mood. Son of a gun. Right there. That was a big one. And it just doubled back and shot back into the weeds. Dang it. Dang it. Again, I know I'm very visible right now. But that's because today is Father's Day, and I was anticipating a lot of boat traffic and a lot of people that don't boat very often. When they come out on a holiday, there tends to be some non-sobriety and vehicular shenanigans, and I didn't feel like getting clipped by somebody that didn't see me. So not only do I have my little flag back here, I decided to wear a fluorescent color because I will be seen, darn it. If you don't see me, you're blind, ignorant, or both. Actually, that could happen as well. But yeah, so I'm just tooling along here, and they might be in the mood for something subsurface, to be honest. I don't know if they want topwater, if they don't want to look up. See these little tiny green sunfish here? Haven't seen any bluegills. Oh, there's a bluegill, actually, now that I say. No, that's a little largemouth right there. Little largy. Probably about 6 or 7 inches long. And clearly he can see me. He's staring right at me. He's right there. Hey, buddy. Yeah, you. I know there's snakeheads here. I know that I know I've ridden past several of them, and they didn't move, they didn't spook, and I'm never gonna know where they were. I'm never gonna know they were there. It's a little silty here. Something spooked out of there not too long ago. There's a big old bullfrog right in there. Too many things sticking off the side of my kayak that I get stuck on. Random bits. Random pieces of these lilies. These are gnarly lilies. There's not a lot of hydrilla right next to the huge one, just right back through there. He was, oh yeah, he was underneath me. That fish was underneath me. Son of a gun. I don't know what I'm doing here when it comes to snakeheads. I am so wanting to learn how to understand these fish. And they'll watch you. They will watch you until you're right on top of them, and then they'll finally blow up and scoot off. It's an incredible fish. Incredible fish. Oh, one just blew up right there. It's come on. Yeah, he's still beelining to those weeds over there. Dang it. I don't even know how many darn fish I've spooked on film. Well, I spooked 3 before I turned my camera back on. Darn it. Well, they're not going to want to eat. They're not eating at all. I think it's just too bright, too sunny. So they come out here. Are they sunning themselves or what? I don't know. But whenever they spook, they go so far back into that cover and they beeline it. They bolt through whatever they're wanting to get through. And they beeline it into the cover. I don't know if they're used to getting preyed upon by ospreys or what, but their self-preservation instincts are pretty solid. Pretty darn solid. I can't even throw a buzzbait in this mess. Alright. I'm willing to bet that I'm going to spook at least one more just getting out of here. Willing to bet just how many snakeheads are packed back up in all this hydrilla. This is a fish that's going to take patience to learn how to catch, that's for darn sure. But unfortunately I can't be out here at dark at this time because I got to get home. Well, I got plans to cook dinner for Dad today because it's Father's Day. And that's why I can't stay out too late today. This is neat. Very neat. I've never been this far back into weeds. Some pretty serious muckety muck. I could probably get a little farther back into some of this stuff than I have already if I didn't have the trolling motor on the boat right now. Because like I said, that's about 70 pounds of extra weight on the kayak because of how I have it set up with the big old batteries in the back. Oh, I'm getting used to standing on this thing, that's for sure. Oh, there's one. I scared it. Let go. What am I stuck on? I'm through. Oh, something moved over there. That's all silted right there. Darn it, darn it, darn it. Yeah, I'll be coming back here at some point before too long because I want to crack at some of these bad boys. These tiny, tiny little sunfish. I know darn well that's what these snakeheads are all eating. There's just a myriad of little sunfish around. Alright. Well, now that I'm back on the main river channel with a fresh battery, this is what I was talking about when I said I wanted to wear orange today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 boats just passed by in about the 3 minutes while I was trying to get things squared away and reset my battery again, my trolling motor, and paddle my way out here. I am going to go home and I'm going to order a bigger circuit breaker. Then I think that will alleviate some of the issues that I've been having. If not most, I'm going to paddle my way back out to the channel here and drop the motor again. And like I was saying earlier, I'm only going to be running it at probably 75% speed. There we go, at that speed, instead of the balls out. Let's get back going as fast as we possibly can because I don't fish tournaments. Lock. Come on, lock, you darn thing. I just heard a power boat start up. That's my favorite. jerk. I'll get it squared away and I'll come back. So somehow the right side of my release lever lock jammed. That's fun. So I'm running back at half power, or about a quarter of the pace I should. So if I go any faster, it decapitates all the heck. So I'm just at the limit where it's staying in the water, catching a lot of bubs, but hello osprey, but it is still, it's not flipping and flopping. And I'm making my way back to some place with some hard land. That's all silty, mucky goose residue stuff over there. I don't feel like getting out and putting my feet into that nonsense, so I'm gonna get somewhere where there's a bit of a rocky shoreline, maybe the end of a dock or something. And I think there's a couple put-ins over here I can at least drag up onto to try and get out and sort that issue out, because it's jammed. It is flat out freaking jammed in there. I have more goofy little issues with this trolling motor. Now, don't get me wrong, at this point the benefits far outweigh the cons, like 110,000%. But the cons are glaring, and they are common. Good fish, good fish, real good fish. Oh, real good fish on an ultralight. Oh crap. Good bass, good bass, good bass. What a good fish, what a good fish, what a good fish. Oh, he's got one eye. Oh yeah. He's skinny, he's only got one eye. Man, he'd probably be a 4 or 5 pounder if he didn't have one missing eye and a missing gill. Man, he's seen it. He's been through it. I don't want to hurt you anymore, buddy. So at 3 pounds 10 ounces, that fish tied my biggest fish, or my heaviest fish of the year so far. And look how skinny it is. Look how skinny. Oh man, this fish has the potential to be probably 6 pounds, to be honest. That's so unfortunate. That's a 21.5-inch fish. All day long, that's 21.5-inch. That's kind of sad for this thing though, but it's hanging in there. You know, life finds a way. All right, big girl. I don't want to stress you too much. Let's get you going. Later, big, beautiful girl. Go on, baby. Go on, baby. That's right. All right. That was a beautiful fish. I think that actually beat my biggest fish of the year so far. But saw a tiny little, I can't believe I kept that fish on with this tiny little hook. And she didn't destroy my line. That's crazy. Right behind the bridge piling. Yeah, that fish should have been 5 or 6 pounds. That fish right there should have been my PB all day long. Should have been my personal best. I was like, there's no way I should have been able to bring that fish in on this particular setup. No way. But she was weak. She wasn't fighting hard. She just had a lot of weight to her, and that's unfortunate. I mean, again, she's surviving. She's not thriving, but she's surviving. She is doing her thing. Life is finding a way. real good fish. Potential to be a great fish, but it was a real good fish. Oh yeah, probably a good crappie there. Probably a good crappie. Really? That's just a big old bluegill. Not even big, just a very very gutsy one. That's 3 fish on the day. Shooting these docks. Seeing what I could see. Not having a whole lot of luck on them. That's a fish. That's, speaking of, see, all I would say is I'm not having a whole lot of luck, and boom, fish. That's a good fish. That's a good fish. Don't know what it is yet. Yep, another bass. Another good fish. Another pretty solid fish. Nope, nope, don't dig, don't dig. Gotcha. And a healthy little fish. That's a pretty one. That's a real healthy little fish. Well fed, this one. Of course, it doesn't have, it's not missing an eye. Not bad. Not bad. Pretty fish. Love it. All right. Later, buddy. Nice. And now I'm hung up. What am I doing? There we go. Line feels good. Jig head's looking worse for wear, but bait is okay. Oh, I'm gonna go right back up there and try and get another one. I think, you know, I'm getting such good quality fish off of these lures, you know, that are essentially panfish lures, because this place is just so pressured. They don't expect something super finessey to come by and, you know, be not food. Doing good today though. It's turning out to be a real good day. Okie dokie, I have gotten packed up. I'm off the water. It was a really good day. Personal best largemouth. Not necessarily by weight, but definitely by length. That kind of feel bad for that fish, but I let her go. She's gonna live on. That fish is a survivor for sure. But yeah, 21 and either 21 and a half or 21 3/4 inch largemouth bass. That was pretty good. Got a bluegill and got a couple more bass, so pretty good day. It was a solid day, not gonna complain. Learned a lot about where those snakeheads hide when it's sunny out. It was really cool getting to sneak up on that one. You know, I knew trying to net it was a foolhardy idea. I knew it wasn't gonna work, but you know, you never know until you try, right? So that was pretty cool. But yeah, it was a really good day. And I gotta turn the air conditioning down. It's probably blowing on you, and you can probably hear it in the wind, but it's very warm. It's 91 degrees out right now, according to the vehicle. And it feels every bit of it. You can definitely tell when you're in the shade versus when you're not in the shade. And yeah, so I'm gonna get on the road again. I'll be back out here again. I will learn how to get these snakeheads. I want to start catching them on the regular. I'm not gonna stop until I succeed in that regard. Well, like I said, data points. I got some new data points today. So yeah, I'm gonna go find something cold and refreshing and perhaps very slurpy like. But that's about all I got for you today. I appreciate you coming along, watching along with my adventures, and maybe you learned something about snakeheads today too. But yep, that's about it. Like I always say, thanks again for watching. Make sure you find a reason to smile today, and I'll catch you in the next one.